Namaskar, hello everyone. Today I am going to discuss about the world populations and the distribution of population and population trends. So let's start the video. So actually populations distributions or population trends it's discussed according to two sides of the development. One is developed country and another is developing countries. Developed country like North Korea, North America, Latin America, Oceania, Japan. This type of country and subcontinent also takes in developed countries, and some developing countries like Asia, Africa, and so on, Middle East Asia, this kind of countries. So the developed countries are increasement of populations of per decade year in in some data says that 0.78%, 0.78%. But the developing countries, rather than the developing countries, rather than the developing countries and other subcontinent, their population growth is in 45%, 45% compared to the developed country. So here you can understand how is the difference between developing and developed countries. So now coming to the another point is that the populations of the world is in the 2010 there was 6,1894 million, and after that some predictor are predict that in the 2025 the population would be 8,036 billion. Okay, in this data we can understand the increasement of population day by day and year by year. The whole world is increasing higher the situation. I am talking about another data which can give us some more knowledge that in the year 1986, in this year the population doubling time was 39 years, 39 years. And after some that the 1998 there was some population data which is also with the doubling population time is 39 years, and after that 2001 we can see there was a population doubling time is 50 years. So these data can shows the how much increasement of population of the world in some of the decades and some of the years. So it takes some lesser time than the previous years. Okay, in a recent data we can understand that the developed countries increasement of population in 0.45%, and developing countries population increasement rate is 2.03%. so here we can understand the comparison between these developed and developing countries. Developed countries control their population, and the developing countries are not controlling their populations. So this can shows the increasement of population and natural growth of the populations. Now coming to the next point, which is the distribution of the world populations. I am talking about the first as the Europe. The European countries in the 19th century and the 19th century and 18th century there was a population increasement is higher as because of some growth of industrial and agricultural development. But after the First World War and the Second World War there was some famine and shortage of agricultural resources. So some of the industrial factories are being closed. So at this stage there was some population declining and increasement was stopped. But after that in the 1951 or 1961 the population of the Europe are increasing as higher as we can see that the some baby blooms are coming in this situation. But first of all we can understood the what is baby bloom. Baby blooms are nothing but the uh, higher birth rate. Okay, higher birth rate is called as the baby bloom is come in 1956. In the 1956 we can see that the European populations has become rapid growth, and after that the increasement of population and birth rate but in the 1999 or 1980, in this stage the European countries has the higher population growth rate, and after that the medical science and the shortage of agricultural resources are not available. So this type of situation, the population of the European countries are become increases as highly. Now coming to the next point is North America. North American population in the 1800 say, in the 18th century, there was some 3.356 percent of the population growth rate is annual growth rate of the population. But after that they are facing some worldwide famines. So these type of things are declining their birth rate and also increasing their death rate. So that is why the increasement of population was not done. But after that after the two world war, the population of the Northern America is higher, has become the one of the most populated country, North America, and also some increasement of populations shows in this country. In this North America, we can see the European migration and immigration is happens, and the growth rate of the populations is increasing. And after that the European immigration was happening in this country, and take places the North America, the immigrations of European people coming to America. So that is the increasement of populations, and nowadays the growth rate of the North American country is higher. Now coming to the next point is Oceania. Oceania is also increasing populated country, and also is a developed country. There was New Zealand, Australia, and these kind of countries. They are developed their population control and the situation, and they are some after the world war their economy was higher in the position. So they are increasing their medical science and also the shortage of their food, so they can control their populations. Oceania. After that we are coming to the Asia and the subcontinent of Middle East and the Southeast Asia. The Middle East and East Asia, this type of region was the most populated region of the world, and the cause is because of the some famine, pandemic, epidemic, and whispered pandemic. So these type of causes decline the death rate. Decline is increasing the death rates, and that's why the population are not increasing. And after that second world war, the world the Asia the facing the Asia, the increasement of population, and after that the natural increasement is happening there in the 1970. In the 1970, the year which is also get facing the baby blossoms in Southern Asia, and the fertility rate was higher. The birth rate is higher in this time, and that is why the increasement of population is happening there. So after that, the Asia is become the most populated region of the world populations, and distributed more than population in here. Some of the predictors says that the more than in the 1998, and after that the world 5 or 6% are resident of Southeast Asia and Middle East Asia, this kind of a region. So world 5 or 6% are resident of these places. So we can understand how is the populated area or dense area in populations. Now coming to the next point is Africa. The Africa is most area. Africa is the most isolated area in the statistical data says, though most of the countries are not been interested or not been able to do their census because of the some economic issues. They are not, the Sahara region and the sub-Sahara region, they are not able to did their census. So that is the why we cannot take the data of statistical, but some predictors says that the most of the higher birth rates and higher death rates are found in there in African and sub-African region. Here the famine and the pandemic are also take places in this area. In this region is some hunger issues, some other issues. So that's why the increasement of population is happening there. So Africa is the natural increasement of population are also can see. And this area in migration, not only in migration, there is some out migration towards the Europe. So that's why their birth rate is higher, but the death rate and the out migration is takes places. That's why they are not populated country, but they can birth rate is higher, their birth rate is higher. Okay, now coming to the next point, what is the causes of this kind of a growth happening in the world and worldwide distributed. So first of all, the causes of the world population distribution is the developing and developed countries in the misfigure rate. Okay, so these two type of a region, developing and developed region, there is some specific causes are found. The specific causes are there. So let's coming to the one point, that the main cause of that the decline of gradual increasement of population in the after the Second World War and the First World War, the economic development, medical development, and also some others development, economic, social. So this kind of development help to decline in death rate and birth rate is higher. So the natural increasement of population is happening here. First of all, we should understood the what is the natural increasement of population. Natural increasement of population is nothing but the birth rate is fixed. Birth rate is fixed, but the death rates in some affected causes in death rates is decline. Death rate is decline, but the birth rate is fixed. In this situation, we can see the increasement of natural increasement of populations. We can't control anything, but in this naturally way the population is increasing. So this kind of things happening in the world to be populated and increasement of population. And developing country, they are controlling their population as some taking some policy and also take some social activities so that the increasement would be checked and population control should be there. But the developing country, they cannot provide the population to better service or better facilities to their people. So they cannot control the population. As we can see that the most of the increasement of population is happening in the developing countries, not in the developed countries. Developed countries, they control their population, but in the developing country they can't control their population, as because of the they do not gives the people to facility in all of the things like social and economical perspective. So if we consider the world as developed and developing region, in these two regions we can also distribute the whole world population in these two type of a section, developed and developing countries. Some economical shortage, famine, First World War, Second World War, this kind of things, whispered epidemic, everything, this kind of thing is declining the birth rate and also increasing the death rates. So the increasement is stopped. But if birth rate is fixed, but the death rate is not been declining, so the natural increasement is happening there. So this is the all of the things we should take some knowledge from this, that the world population trends and distributions and some causes of population increasement. So this is my pastime to elaborate the populations in the world distribution and trends. To give suggestions in my comments box is always welcome, and please do subscribe me to get lot more videos on this kind of things and topics, so I will get it better. Thanks a lot for hearing me. Thank you very much.